Team 17 of 52 teams of 8 rival wisdoms. Help make America wiser and kinder with antique quotes that have passed the test of time to make humanity great, with words of wisdom to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. Give your kids a competitive edge with faster reading skills with timed practice videos, alpha cipher puzzles to learn letters, words and phrases, and repetitive easy math to help us all grow wiser and kinder. Team quote 17.1. Be as you wish to seem. Socrates 470 BC 399 BC. This concise wisdom from Socrates articulates a fundamental principle of authentic leadership and professional development. The statement addresses the relationship between internal character and external behavior, emphasizing that genuine excellence comes from aligning one's true nature with desired attributes. From an organizational perspective, this principle has significant implications for leadership development and corporate culture. Rather than focusing on surface-level behaviors or temporary solutions, it suggests that sustainable excellence requires genuine cultivation of desired qualities. This approach leads to more consistent and reliable performance compared to attempting to maintain artificial appearances. In contemporary business settings, this philosophy can guide several key areas. Professional development. Instead of merely adopting superficial behaviors, professionals should focus on developing genuine capabilities and expertise that naturally manifest in their work. Organizational culture. Companies benefit from building authentic values and practices rather than simply promoting aspirational messaging without substantive implementation. Leadership strategy. Effective leaders should concentrate on developing genuine leadership qualities rather than merely attempting to project leadership presence. This principle particularly resonates in today's business environment, where authenticity and transparency are increasingly valued. Organizations that embrace this approach often experience improved employee engagement, stronger stakeholder relationships, and more sustainable performance outcomes. Team quote 17.2. Friendship that can cease is never real. St. Jerome 347 AD 420 AD. This observation from St. Jerome provides valuable insight into the nature of authentic relationships, both personal and professional. The principle has direct applications to business partnerships, professional networks, and organizational relationships. In a professional context, this philosophy emphasizes the importance of building sustainable, value-based relationships rather than transactional connections. True business partnerships, like genuine friendships, are characterized by mutual commitment, shared values, and the ability to weather challenges while maintaining trust and support. This concept has significant implications for modern business practices. Organizations that prioritize building enduring relationships with stakeholders often experience enhanced business resilience, improved customer loyalty, and stronger supplier partnerships. These relationships create a foundation of trust that supports long-term success and helps organizations navigate market uncertainties. From a leadership perspective, this principle suggests the importance of fostering genuine connections within teams and across organizational boundaries. Leaders who cultivate authentic professional relationships often find their teams demonstrate increased engagement, improved collaboration, and enhanced problem-solving capabilities. Team quote 17.3. Wealth is not his that has it, but his that enjoys it. Benjamin Franklin 1706 to 1790. This insight from Benjamin Franklin addresses a fundamental principle about the relationship between possession and value creation. His observation extends beyond personal wealth to encompass organizational resources and business assets. From a business perspective, this principle suggests that the mere possession of resources does not guarantee value creation or competitive advantage. Rather, it is the strategic deployment and effective utilization of assets that generates sustainable business value. Organizations must focus not only on acquiring resources but on developing the capabilities to leverage them effectively. This concept has particular relevance in today's business environment where companies often possess significant digital assets, intellectual property, and human capital. The differential factor in organizational success frequently lies not in the quantity of resources available, but in how effectively these resources are deployed to create value for stakeholders. Practical implications for modern organizations are significant. Companies must develop robust frameworks for resource optimization, ensuring that investments in technology, talent, and infrastructure translate into tangible business outcomes. This requires careful attention to organizational capabilities, strategic alignment, and operational excellence. Team quote 17.4. The man who has the will to undergo all labor may win to any good. Martin Luther 1483–1546. This is a powerful quote from Martin Luther, the German theologian who sparked the Protestant Reformation. Quote emphasizes that achieving anything worthwhile requires dedication and hard work, suggesting that with enough determination and willingness to put in sustained effort, a person can accomplish their goals no matter how challenging they might seem. It's interesting how this sentiment reflects Luther's own life and work. He demonstrated this principle through his own immense undertaking of translating the Bible into German and standing up to the established Catholic Church despite significant personal risk. Quote also aligns with his broader theological views about the importance of individual effort and direct relationship with God, though he famously emphasized that salvation comes through faith rather than works alone. Team quote 17.5. We cannot command nature except by obeying her. Francis Bacon 1561–1626. This quote from Francis Bacon, the English philosopher and pioneer of empirical scientific thinking, captures a profound insight about humanity's relationship with nature. It elegantly expresses a paradox. Our ability to harness and utilize natural forces only comes through first understanding and working within nature's laws. This principle became foundational to the scientific method that emerged during and after Bacon's time. For example, we can't simply command electricity to power our devices. We first had to understand and work with the natural laws of electromagnetism. We can't command crops to grow. We must understand and work with soil chemistry, plant biology, and seasonal cycles. Quote reflects Bacon's broader philosophy that emphasized careful observation and experimentation rather than pure theoretical reasoning. He believed that practical knowledge of how nature actually works was the key to technological advancement, an approach that helped lay the groundwork for modern science. What strikes me is how relevant this principle remains today, especially as we face environmental challenges. We're learning, sometimes the hard way, that trying to dominate nature without respecting its systems and limits often leads to unintended consequences. Team quote 17.6. Our charity begins at home and mostly ends where it begins. Horace Smith 1779–1893. This quote from Horace Smith offers a rather pointed criticism of human nature and our tendency towards self-interest. The line is both clever and cutting in its observation that while we often speak of charity, our actual practice of it frequently doesn't extend beyond our immediate circle. It's particularly interesting how Smith uses the common phrase, "Charity begins at home," typically used to justify prioritizing one's family or local community, but then subverts it with the second line, "and mostly ends where it begins." This transforms what's usually meant as a positive saying about taking care of one's own into a criticism of limited compassion and moral horizons. Smith was an English poet and novelist known for his wit and social commentary, and this quote exemplifies his style of using wordplay to deliver social criticism. The observation remains remarkably relevant today as we continue to grapple with questions about the scope of our moral obligations and the balance between taking care of our own and extending help to others beyond our immediate circle. What particularly stands out is how the quote uses gentle humor to make a rather serious point about human selfishness and the gap between our professed values and actual behavior. Would you say you think his observation still holds true in today's world? Team quote 17.7. Patience will achieve more than force. Edmund Burke 1729–1797. This insight from Edmund Burke, the Irish statesman and political philosopher, captures an important truth about human affairs and effective action. reflects his broader philosophical outlook that favored gradual organic change over sudden revolutionary action. The wisdom here lies in recognizing that many goals are better achieved through careful timing, persistence, and steady effort rather than through forceful intervention. Burke would have seen this principle at work both in politics and in personal matters. In politics, he witnessed how attempts at forced rapid change often led to backlash or unintended consequences, a view shaped by his observations of the French Revolution. What makes this quote particularly powerful is its wide applicability, whether in diplomacy, personal relationships, professional development, or social change. Consider how a gardener can't force a plant to grow faster by pulling on it, but can achieve the desired result through patient cultivation. Or how in negotiations a patient approach often achieves better outcomes than aggressive demands. This perspective seems especially relevant in our current fast-paced world, where there's often pressure for immediate results. Burke's wisdom suggests that sometimes slowing down and taking the longer view might actually be the more effective path. Team quote 17.8. When you doubt, abstain. Ambrose Bierce, 1842–1914. This concise quote from Ambrose Bierce, American journalist, satirist, and author of The Devil's Dictionary, offers a straightforward but profound guideline for decision-making. In just 4 words, it captures an important principle of prudence. What makes this quote particularly interesting is that it comes from Bierce, who was known for his biting wit and cynicism. Yet here he offers what appears to be genuinely sincere advice about exercising caution when uncertain. This wasn't his usual satirical style, which makes it stand out in his body of work. The wisdom lies in its recognition that action taken in doubt often leads to regret. It's similar to the medical principle of first do no harm. If you're not sure about something, it's often better to hold back than to act and potentially cause damage. This applies across many contexts: personal relationships, financial decisions, moral choices, or professional judgment. However, what makes the quote thought-provoking is that following it strictly could also lead to paralysis, since perfect certainty is rare. Perhaps the real skill lies in distinguishing between normal everyday uncertainties and deeper doubts that serve as warning signals. Give your kids free easy extra advantage math, spelling, and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopshate.com. Free easy math wisdom workbooks with Octo-Repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free easy alpha Cypher coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this Cypher quote of encouragement using either our learning to spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt and most of us change them daily, so change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like pretty witty baby onesies and baby tees that you and others will see and read multiple times a day. The same is true with pretty witty kids, but they'll also share these wisdoms with anyone that can read at daycare or school. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. I think tees I wear is a super easy way to share words of wisdom that have passed the test of time. Our social equalities help make us all wiser and kinder with blatantly subliminal messages promoting a more fair and equal opportunity society for all. And don't forget our giftwisdoms.com for birthdays and holidays that makes it easy to share the wisdom with clothing, coffee mugs, and magnets. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom that have passed the test of time to make us all wiser and kinder. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. Join the 52 of 8 today at 52of8.com.